Welcome to Healthy Living, the podcast that explores how to live your healthiest, happiest life using the latest science and a generous helping of common sense. I'm your host, Lindiwe, and today we're diving deep into the fascinating world happening right inside your belly, the microbiome revolution. Those trillions of tiny microbes living in your gut aren't just freeloading roommates. They're more like tiny personal assistants affecting everything from your waistline to your brain chemistry. In fact, there are more bacterial cells in your body than human cells, which makes you wonder who's really in charge around here. Grab your kombucha or kefir, bonus points if you fermented it yourself, and get ready to meet the microscopic community that might be controlling your food cravings, mood swings, and even your social life. By the end of this episode, you'll be on a first-name basis with your bifidobacterial, the gut-brain connection. Let's start with something mind-blowing. Your gut has its own nervous system with over 100 million nerve cells. Scientists call it the second brain, though it's less concerned with philosophy and more with digestion. But here's where it gets wild. These two brains talk to each other constantly through what's called the gut-brain axis. Think about the last time you felt butterflies before a big presentation, or that gut feeling about someone you just met. That wasn't just a figure of speech. It was an actual biological conversation happening between your gut and your brain. Hello, brain department speaking. Yeah, hi, it's gut. Listen, she just ate a triple espresso and a gas station burrito before her job interview. We've got a situation down here. Again, dispatch anxiety and sweating immediately. This isn't just funny, it's science. A groundbreaking study from the University of California found that 90% of serotonin, yes, the happy chemical, is produced in your gut, not your brain. No wonder what you eat affects your mood. Those probiotics might literally be antidepressants on a plate. Nay, I experimented with this myself last year after a stressful move left me feeling off balance. 2 weeks of fermented foods and fiber later, my mood improved so dramatically that my partner asked if I was secretly meditating without them. Nope, just feeding my gut buddies their favorite foods. And it's not just mood. Researchers at UCLA discovered that women who regularly consumed probiotic yogurt showed measurably different brain responses when shown emotional images. Their gut microbes were literally changing how their brains processed feelings. Maybe thinking with your gut deserves more credit than we've given it. Metabolism, weight, and your microbial fingerprint. Have you ever wondered why some people can eat chocolate cake every day and stay rail thin while others gain weight just by looking at a donut? Of course, genetics plays a role, but here's something that might vindicate you. Your microbiome could be secretly sabotaging your diet efforts. Each of us has a unique microbial fingerprint, as individual as our actual fingerprints. Scientists at the Weizmann Institute in Israel conducted a fascinating study where they monitored blood sugar responses to different foods. The shocking result? The same exact foods caused wildly different glucose spikes in different people. One memorable case involved two women with identical lifestyles. One could eat ice cream with minimal blood sugar impact, while cookies sent her levels soaring. For the other woman, it was exactly the opposite. The difference? Their gut bacteria. In a world where no diet works for everyone, one microbiome stands alone, the personalizer. This explains why your friend thrives on keto while you feel terrible, or why intermittent fasting works wonders for your cousin but leaves you hungry and miserable. It's not willpower, it's your microbes. Quick fact that'll make you go, huh? Research with twins shows that specific gut bacteria are associated with obesity, and when those bacteria were transferred to germ-free mice, the mice gained weight without changing their diet at all. Talk about a microbiome mic drop. The most mind-boggling part? Scientists can now predict weight gain by analyzing gut bacteria more accurately than by looking at genetic factors. In other words, your microbiome might influence your weight more than the genes your parents gave you. Sorry, Mom and Dad, I'm blaming my love handles on my bacteroids now. The immune system and inflammation connection. Ready for another shocking number? About 70–80% of your immune system is located in your gut. That's right. The same place processing your morning toast is also your body's Pentagon, making critical defense decisions. Your microbiome acts like a training camp for your immune cells, teaching them the difference between harmful invaders and harmless visitors. When this system works well, you stay healthy and inflammation stays in check. When it goes haywire, well, that's when the trouble starts. Researchers at Harvard have linked disruptions in gut bacteria to everything from allergies and asthma to autoimmune conditions like multiple sclerosis and rheumatoid arthritis. One study found that children who grow up with dogs have a more diverse microbiome and fewer allergies. Apparently, a little bit of dirt and dog bacteria is good for developing immune systems. Think about what this means for our modern, ultra-sanitized world. We've declared war on bacteria with antibacterial everything, soaps, wipes, sprays, and while hygiene is important, we might be throwing out the beneficial bacteria with the bathwater. I spoke with Dr. Maya Rodriguez, an immunologist specializing in the microbiome, who explained it beautifully. Your immune system is like a security team that needs proper training. Without exposure to a variety of microbes early in life, it's like security guards who can't tell the difference between a real threat and a delivery person bringing pizza. The connection to chronic inflammation is particularly fascinating. Low-grade inflammation underlies many modern diseases, from heart disease to depression to Alzheimer's. And guess what helps regulate inflammation? You guessed it, those microscopic roommates in your gut. The good news? Simple changes, like eating more fiber-rich foods, can help feed beneficial bacteria that produce anti-inflammatory compounds. One such compound, butyrate, has been shown to repair the gut lining and reduce inflammation throughout the body. It's like sending your gut bacteria to work with tiny repair kits. Microbiome testing and personalized interventions. If you're now thoroughly convinced your microbiome deserves some attention, you might be wondering, how do I know what's going on in there? Great question. Microbiome testing has exploded in popularity, with companies like Viome, Thrive, and Biome offering mail-in test kits that analyze your gut bacteria through, sorry to get graphic here, a small stool sample. Suddenly, your bathroom activities become a scientific contribution. Just imagine explaining that to your roommate. Don't mind me, just collecting some data for science. These tests can identify which bacterial species are flourishing in your gut, which ones are missing, and how your microbial community compares to healthy populations. Some even offer personalized food recommendations based on your unique microbial profile. I tried one of these tests last year, and I was fascinated to discover I had low levels of Akkermansia, a beneficial bacterium linked to metabolic health. The report suggested foods that might help increase these populations, including polyphenol-rich foods like cranberries and green tea. 3 months later, a follow-up test showed my Akkermansia levels had doubled. My energy levels improved too, though that might have been just because I was excited about my bacterial friends multiplying. Beyond food recommendations, doctors are now using microbiome data for targeted probiotic therapy and even more cutting-edge treatments like fecal microbiota transplants, which is exactly what it sounds like and has shown remarkable success rates for conditions like recurrent C. difficile infections. And yes, that's literally transferring stool from a healthy donor to a patient. I promise it's more medical and less gross than it sounds, though not by much. The precision approach extends to prebiotics too, specific fibers that feed beneficial bacteria. Rather than generic fiber supplements, we're moving toward personalized prebiotic formulations designed to nurture your specific bacterial deficiencies. It's like custom fertilizer for your internal garden. Practical tips for a healthy microbiome. Now, for the part you've been waiting for, what can you actually do with all this information? Let's turn this fascinating science into practical action. First, diversity is key. Just like a diverse ecosystem is more resilient, a diverse microbiome is healthier. Aim to eat 30 plus different plant foods per week. That includes fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, and whole grains. Each type harbors different fibers that feed different beneficial bacteria. 30 different plants sounds impossible until you start counting. Spinach, 1, blueberry, 2, walnut, 3, black beans, 4. It adds up faster than you'd think. Herbs and spices count too, so your cinnamon, basil, and turmeric are all contributing. Second, embrace fermented foods. Yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, and tempeh are all packed with probiotics. A study from Stanford showed that eating fermented foods daily increased microbiome diversity and reduced inflammatory markers after just 10 weeks. I've become something of a fermentation enthusiast myself. My kitchen counter looks like a mad scientist's lab, with jars of bubbling experiments everywhere. Last month, my homemade kimchi exploded overnight, and my cat refused to enter the kitchen for 3 days. Worth it though. My gut health has never been better. Third, reconsider unnecessary antibiotics. Yes, antibiotics save lives and are absolutely necessary sometimes, but they're also like dropping a bomb on your microbial ecosystem. If your doctor prescribes antibiotics, take them as directed, but ask if they're truly necessary for minor conditions. Fourth, get dirty. Garden without gloves occasionally. Spend time in nature, get a pet if you can. These exposures diversify your microbiome in beneficial ways. One study found that Amish children who grow up on farms with regular exposure to livestock and soil have significantly lower rates of asthma and allergies than urban children. Finally, manage stress. Chronic stress alters gut bacteria in harmful ways, creating a negative feedback loop between stress and microbiome disruption. Meditation, adequate sleep, and exercise all benefit your mental health and your microbial friends. Your gut bacteria thank you for that yoga class. Closing thoughts. The microbiome revolution isn't just another health fad. It represents a fundamental shift in how we understand human health. We're not just isolated individuals, but complex ecosystems hosting trillions of microorganisms that influence virtually every aspect of our biology. This perspective is both humbling and empowering. Humbling because it reminds us we're not entirely in control of our bodies, and empowering because simple dietary and lifestyle changes can transform our microbial communities and, by extension, our health. As the legendary microbiologist Lynn Margulis once said, life did not take over the world by combat, but by networking. The same might be true for health. It's not about fighting disease, but about cultivating the right relationships with our microbial partners. Before we wrap up, special thanks to our producer Larry Allen, whose blog Live Well, A Guide to Healthy Living at happyguthealthybrain.blogspot.com features several excellent articles on gut health. Larry's practical approach to microbiome wellness perfectly complements our discussion today. Check out his recent post on fermentation basics if you're inspired to try it yourself. Thank you for joining me on Live Long, Live Well. If this episode sparked your curiosity, subscribe, leave a review, and share with someone who might benefit from befriending their bacteria. Next week, we'll explore the fascinating world of chronobiology, how your internal clock affects everything from weight loss to cognitive performance. Remember, you're never really alone. You've got trillions of tiny companions along for the ride of life. Keep them happy, and they'll return the favor.